So here we are on another bike ride here in China. Today the weather is absolutely disgusting. It's chucking it down. It's supposed to be a typhoon, but I've decided to risk it going outside because I've been on the trainer all off last week. I was doing some inside workouts because it was the national holiday here, so I've been sort of off for the last week, but going traveling and stuff with the girlfriend, so didn't have that much time to get on the bike. It did say on the weather forecast that this is going to ease up in about an hour, so I'm taking the risk. Heading out towards some of the more mountainous areas. There's some areas where I can cycle on roads where cars aren't allowed, so it should be good. I'm going to do some hill repeats if the weather clears up. If not, I'll probably just go there, do one or two, and then return home. All right, let's get onto it. So check out my shoes. These are on their last legs for sure. They're literally cracking all the way through, just falling apart. So yeah, time to get some new shoes. If you have any suggestions, then feel free to let me know. All right, let's go. So it was absolutely chucking it down, and rather predictably, the weather didn't clear up. In fact, it got much, much worse. Riding in the rain here is a bit sketchy. You've got to be so careful. Just make sure you're always on your brakes, ready to stop, just in case someone pulls out in front of you. But once you get off the main roads onto the bike lanes, it's alright, to be honest. So it took me about half an hour to ride to the base of the mountain, and by the time I got there I was pretty ready to go. So this is a hill I've done a few times before. About 2 weeks ago I did this climb. I actually did some hill repeats on it, and my best performance was 280 watts for about 14 minutes. And that was on a very hot day, and that was also the third time I've done it. This time I thought, why not just go all out, because I know I'm only going to do it once because I am very wet and I want to go home. So the whole climb is about 170 meters of elevation gain. There's a slight downhill right at the beginning, which sort of ruins the average gradient. The average gradient for the whole thing is about 4%, but that downhill makes it a bit lower, so really it's probably about 5 or 6%. It's a good fun hill overall. Very nice that there's no cars here, and you can just go as hard as you want, really. So we're literally just about to hit the start of this hill. Just when we go under these red lanterns, we begin. So still chucking it down with rain, but the trees do sort of protect me a bit. Weather is about 21 degrees, nice and cool. The rain obviously cooling me down quite a lot. Trying to keep the power quite high just to get into the start of this hill. So 400 watts at the moment. Heart rate started at about 130, up to 150 now. Just trying to get my cadence sorted, trying to make sure I'm spinning at a nice rate. This is probably actually the steepest bit of the whole hill actually. The Garmin in the top right says it's 0%, but that's because my Garmin in the rain doesn't do gradients properly, so just sort of ignore that. I can tell at the moment it's sort of like 6-7%. Alright, so just getting past that really steep bit, and now we're going to settle into a nice smooth power delivery. So trying to keep it at just over 300 watts here. I'm aiming for about 330. I think that's a nice round number I should be able to sustain for about just over 10 minutes. So let's speed up the footage a bit. So 4 times speed here, and it is pretty horrible, this weather. I am already soaked through. So when we get to the top of the mountain, I'm going to talk about all the stuff I have on my bike and which ones actually survive the rain and which ones do not quite make it. So a bit about my bike, still on the Trek Domane AL3, got the 34 on the back, 34 crankset, so 1-to-1 gear ratio. Definitely need that for most of the climbing I'm doing. Heart rate now is definitely hitting the higher amounts now, 175. That's actually kind of sustainable for me recently. I found that I'm managing to sit in these higher heart rates and be more comfortable with them. Normally, if I get over 180, that's when it's the time for me to suffer, but high 170s, I should be okay. Keeping the power at around 300 still, average 312 at the moment, not too bad so far. 5 minutes into the climb, got about 8-7 minutes left, and I'm feeling pretty comfortable. At this point, I am absolutely destroying my personal record, so I have no complaints whatsoever at this point. The rain is horrible, it's keeping me cool, which is helping me to perform better. The previous day I did this, I was overheating so much, but the nice cool weather does mean I can actually push myself a bit further. So skip forward a couple of minutes, and this is where things start to go wrong. So you can see all these twigs and sticks on the ground here. What I end up doing is riding over a pretty large one, and it gets itself lodged in my rear derailleur. So I have to stop for a bit, just rip everything out the back. I wasn't being particularly careful here, but you know, I was just trying to get it done as quickly as possible. In the end, I end up wasting about 45 seconds just trying to fix the sticks in my rear derailleur. It is very, very annoying, but what can you do? Yeah, I should have just been more careful, really. I wasn't really paying attention to whether I was driving over anything. I just sort of assumed there would be nothing that big on the road, but more fool me. All right, let's skip to the last bit when I'm just trying to reach the very top. So this is the last 10 seconds or so of the climb, literally just sprinting to the end here. My heart rate is well up into the 180s now, so just giving it everything for the end. That's the finish there, those random stones, and just pulling up to the finish line now. So in the end, I managed to do it 3 seconds slower than my personal record, which is just because of having to stop, which is very, very annoying. But I did manage 315 watts for that entire time, which is not too bad at all. So no complaints from me. I was quite happy with that. Without the stop, I'm pretty sure I would have made it up about a minute quicker than my previous time. So yeah, what can you do? All right, let's see how well my rain gear has held up.
Hit a twig halfway through and it ruined, well, not ruined, it affected my derailleur. So you can see some of the remnants in here. I had to stop and pull it all out. You can see it right there. All right, I had to switch to the phone camera because the GoPro just died. So let's talk about all the things I use in the rain and which ones handle it well. All right, so first up, I've got my Santini rain jacket. This has not done very well at all, to be honest. Oh, water in my eye, sweat in my eye, painful. Ugh. All right, so yeah, my Santini rain jacket here has not done particularly well. I am soaked through, and yeah, it's okay here because it's quite warm and it's tropical rain, but if you are in England and the rain is cold and freezing, I would not recommend this jacket to you. Considering how expensive it is, this is like 150 quid. This should be keeping me bone dry for that price, and to be honest, it's just gone straight through. Maybe it's designed more for showers rather than consistent rain, but yeah, big thumbs down there, especially from a big brand. I would have expected better. All right, what else have I got? All right, I've got my Domane radar light thing here, and this has been working flawlessly for like the year and a half I've had it. No problems whatsoever, even in the rain, detects all the cars. 100% good product, would recommend. All right, what else do I have? So this is my Garmin Edge 530. Normally it is working fine in the rain, but recently it started to be a bit dodgy. The gradient here just sort of does whatever it wants at the moment. Like when I was going up that hill, it was measuring negative gradients, which is just wrong. So I've read online that sometimes water can fill this little barometer hole in the back. So in the rain, it can be sometimes a bit inaccurate. Everything else works fine, it's just the gradient. So that's not great either. Yeah, everything else seems to work fine in the rain. Obviously the disc brakes are incredibly loud, but safe. Everything else is all good. No complaints from my classic Trek bike. Yeah, not too bad. This saddlebag, I have no idea if it's waterproof or not. I'm not going to open it to find out. GoPro obviously does well. It just runs out of battery really quickly, which is very annoying. I forgot to bring my spares today. The shoes soaked through, obviously. Don't really care because it's warm. I should really have worn the shoe covers to keep my feet dry, but I just wasn't thinking when I went out. Legs soaked, leg hair works fine in the rain. Can't complain. All right, I'm gonna ride home. Hopefully I'll get there safe. Oh, one more thing, these sunglasses. These are Lameda sunglasses. I thought I'd use the clear ones because obviously it's not sunny, so you don't need any tintingness. And I really enjoy using these. They fogged up really easily. It wasn't just the rain blocking the view, but it was actually like condensation as well. So not too great in the rain. I just wearing them, put them in my helmet. All right, that's it for this one. I'm gonna head off and find a suitable thumbnail for this video. So I will see you in the next one. Peace out. So in a cruel twist of fate, the technology which couldn't actually survive the rain was my phone. Oh, here it is, dead, as you can see. It got water damaged in my back pocket because
well, it had cracks on the back, and I thought the waterproofing was still good, but clearly not. So what I've done, because I needed this footage which was on the phone, I couldn't reset it or anything like that, and I didn't want to risk taking it to the Apple store to fix it. So what I did, I took it apart like this, and yeah, basically just fiddled around a bit inside, and I have fixed it. So I need to get this footage off, and then I'm gonna try to put it back together. So yeah, iPhone 11, waterproofing does not work if you've cracked your phone, for future reference. All right, that's it for this one. See you in the next video.